and then if you're recording it, and then you can play it at another day.
Okay, perfect, excellent.
Okay. So
so firstly, first of all, welcome Sarah for tonight's on the Nightingale Challenge. I'll just quickly introduce myself before I hand over to Matt. My name's Tom Carter. I'm the Junior Coordinator for the European Forum for Primary Care. Usually once a week, mostly on Wednesdays, we tend to host webinars on various topics. And today, of course, we have the Nightingale Challenge. Usually these rules apply given a higher attendance rate, but of course, duration, if you could keep your microphone off, your webcam as well. But of course, if you wish to ask a question at any time, you can put these in the comments box. Also, I think it might not be as much of an issue if you want to jump in at some point if you do have a question.
Yeah, please do. If you've got any questions, please do.
Exactly, perfect. What I'll do is I'll hand over to Matt. I'll make you the presenter there, Matt, and it should.
Thank you.
For you there. Okay, there we go.
Okay, right, let's have a little. Okay, can I just check that you can see that?
Yes, yeah.
Yep, okay, lovely. Okay, good evening and welcome everybody. My name is Matt Daley. I'm a Health Education England Nursing Fellow, and I'm here to introduce you to the Nightingale Challenge. I'm part of the Nightingale Challenge team and work within the Nursing Now 2020 campaign. I've been with them since September 2019. So the Nightingale Challenge, the challenge has been created to equip and empower young nurses to be change agents in improving care pathways, leading to universal health coverage. It does this by removing blocks that prevent young nurses from working to the top of their license by providing vision, structure, and encouragement directly to employers to provide formal and informal access to education about leadership, management, and health policy. It is critical for as our profession to prepare. The State of the World's Nursing 2020 discussed, that's just recently come out, has discussed the central role of nurses in achieving health coverage and sustainable development goals by building leadership, stewardship and management capacity for the nursing workforce to advance the relevant education, health, employment and gender agendas, to optimise return on current investments in nursing through adoption of required policy options in education, decent work, fair remuneration, deployment, practice productivity, regulation and retention of the nursing workforce, and also to accelerate and sustain additional investment in nursing education, skills and jobs. And by encouraging nurses and midwives to work to the best of their professional capacity, we should promote these careers, improve recruitment and retention, but also invest in our professional youth. This shows a changing narrative that in the 21st century, this is not a cost, but an investment, and an investment in our nurses and midwives to lead in the future. So who's it for? It is for early career nurses. So the aim has been throughout this campaign to attract and enrol nurses and midwives to develop skills early in their career so that they gain professional maturity quickly, and to motivate and retain these professionals to become the next generation of leaders and influencers of future practice and policy. A large majority of the participating organisations that are joined are acute health organisations, but I'm obviously being here, I'm very keen to include primary care nurses, midwives, but also it's not just nurses and midwives that can be involved in this, it's any other profession. And also at any stage, not just early career nurses. We want to get everyone involved, but the focus is to how do we prepare for the future. But all are welcome into this. And it's been very successful. So it was Nightingale Challenge was launched on the 28th of June 2019, And by February 2020, 10 months after it launched, we were still growing, but we had an initial target of reaching out to and involving 20,000 participants, which seemed like a very huge number, but now we've got 27,458 participants from 724 employers in 71 countries. And I believe that this week it has just slightly gone up. And we've also got a further 152 employers that we're assessing for eligibility. So it's been very, there's been this creep, and then it just rocketed. And the results of the past 11 months have really demonstrated strong support during this COVID period, during the pandemic period as well. So it's a breakdown throughout the WHO regions. In Africa, there's been 2,261 nurses from 63 employers that have pledged, and I'll talk about the pledging, how employers can get involved. In the Americas, it's 3,600, sorry. Eastern Mediterranean, it's 1,498. In Europe, 6,700. In Southeast Asia, just under 10,000. And in the West Pacific, it's about 3,500. And it's a real split between private and public employers as well that have wanted to join this to develop their nurses and midwives. In Europe, across the European region, it's in 6,734 midwives, nurses that are involved in 24 countries. I'm not sure where everyone is from today, but I can give you details of employers from the area. The largest has been Denmark and Spain and Russia, Italy and Denmark. That have seen the highest numbers of countries becoming involved. So what are we actually asking of people, or what are we actually asking of employers? So the Nightingale Challenge is employer-led. We can help you with all the resources and collaboration and partnerships, and I'll talk more of those in a moment. But what we ask of employers to get involved is provide a leadership and development program of your own devising, dedicated to the Nightingale Challenge for a cohort of at least 20 nurses and midwives. As I said earlier, any other staff of any other ages and professions are welcome to join in. And if you're a smaller organisation, lesser numbers can be dedicated, or if you're a larger organisation, be dedicated. We've had large organisations dedicate 200 nurses, for smaller organisations 2 or 3, depending on resources, capability, that from what can be offered. There has been a very wide selection of leadership program approaches. It's about the employers looking at their staff, looking at what the requirements are, and investing in them in their own way. Either as a newly designed program specifically for the Nightingale Challenge. People have utilised their current available training and development programs and opportunities that are already in place and dedicated those. We do have examples of these, some of the examples from all around the world that we have listed, and I'll share the resources shortly. We've got examples from Australia, Indiana in the US, Pakistan, Kenya, Spain, India, and in the UK and England, in Exeter, and also private healthcare, Virgin Care as well, that have got particular approaches that are all very, very different depending on what their particular needs are. And they're very happy to share what they've been able to achieve and how they've approached the challenge. The program resources that we have available are multilingual. We have the compendium of research that has regular updates. So this is a compendium of research for leadership, resilience, innovation, all research from around the world from many different places, and input again by ICN and World Health Organization, amongst others, that are there to support and help the organisations that are joining. We've also got a very large selection of webinars as well, and thought leadership blogs and articles that are continuing to develop. These focus on the leadership, management, professional knowledge and personal development. And there's also opportunities to join in a role in online and residential global leadership programs and modules. And there's a very large selection of this that are either free or paid for, but it really to match whatever requirements that you need. There's information updates to the events and the programs that are happening around the world. Every day there's something new going on, and we seek to share that as well. And with funding, we are not a funding organisation, but we can advise on proposals and connect organisations to donors where and when we can. With engagement, primarily the engagement is been through social media, and the Nightingale Challenge communicates through the Nursing Now Facebook group, which has currently, I looked earlier on, it's 36,295 followers, so it's quite large. And there's a Nursing Now youth group as well, which is just under 17,000 members, and a Twitter account that has, I think it's just under 22,000 followers. So, you know, there is a large amount of interest, and there's a large amount of dialogue going on as we've gone through the year. So people are really, organisers and individuals, nurses, midwives, they've all really sought to match to see what's been happening with them, and chosen to engage. The thought leadership webinars with influential speakers, and also technical content which aims to keep the existing participants engaged and support them with ideas on leadership development and cross-country learning as well. And the recent webinars have really, despite the impacts of the COVID-19, we've had registered numbers in their hundreds. One started off with 100, 111, then it crept up to 200, and then we've just recently peaked at 300, and we've got a lot more webinars planned actually at the moment. So with online development, these are the examples of the programs that we've been able to access for people, and nearly all of these are free access. So it's the NHS Leadership Academy's Open Jenna programme, the Institute of Healthcare Improvement's Open School, ICN, the Global Leadership Programme, the Transformational Leadership Programme from Sigma Theta Tau International, the GHA Institute, Design Thinking for Health, Global Health Network, and the Integrity. They've all chosen to offer these development programs for either free or alongside the Nightingale Challenge, and they will work with you. And we've also been able to identify leadership apps and podcasts and smartphone apps that are able to actually to advise and help early career nurses in seeking advice or help or education, and their organisations. With podcasts, we've linked in with Amy Deagle from the International Network of Nurse Leaders, and another early career nurse leader, Ben Jenkins. You have the Nursing Standard podcast, the Global Caveat, and the University of Oxford as well. With past webinars, we've had, as I spoke about webinars, they're not just been in English. I've recently ran them in Spanish and German, and also having global perspectives of nurse development. So it's not just European or Northwestern focus on nurse development. We've had speakers and advocates from Africa, South America, all across the world, everywhere, really. It's been absolutely fascinating, I must admit. So the past webinars we've just recently had, this year alone, is perspectives from Malawi and the Philippines. We had 156 people come through. There's the Influencing National Change, engaging with the State of the World's Nursing Report, and we've had 2 of those that built upon each other, and then paving the way for education and nursing in responding to the COVID context. What we also have coming up soon is sharing the Nightingale Challenge webinars, and then we've also had self-compassion and compassion in the workplace, and then a follow-on that's planned for the future in June, which carries on from there. And we are just going through organising our running up to the end of the year, all the rest of ours as well. And we'll be focusing on nursing specialities. We would love to do a French language webinar. and returning nurses and the experience and learning of intergenerational mentoring and coaching in the workplace, how politically effectiveness, and also nursing of informatics and information technology as well. But these are dynamic and they change, and we have a whole library that we are wanting to commit to give to people. One thing that we have pushed or offered people is, along with the self-compassion, the compassion during the COVID-19 response, is the Poetry Portal. And these are poems shared by the nurses and midwives around the world that offer support and insight to the lived experience of our health workers and of those of the Nightingale Challenge as they respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's very much a global collection of written poetry and prose alongside spoken recordings and videos. Another large part of the Nightingale Challenge, as well as the education, helping to develop the early career nurses, is the interconnectivity, the matching and the partnerships of like-minded individuals all around the world. And that's not just an acute trust or hospitals or anything like that. This is all organisations around the world, and something we're very, very proud of. And these are global partnerships. So what we've been able to do is we've found the ability to partner and share experience and knowledge, work and develop relationship together. So today, as a start, starting from early this year, we've been able to request people request organisations who are interested in matching and working together with people around the world. And so we've been able to match 82 separate organisations together, and we're just going to match another 10 coming up shortly. So this is really, really encouraging. And obviously during this COVID time, that people want to share and global, and network and partner with other organisations with shared ideals, shared vision of sharing their knowledge and working together. And this is between the UK, in Africa, from North and South America, the Philippines, from Russia, from Israel, the Middle East, everyone. There's been a really, really broad selection of 33 countries that have stepped forward and wanted to be this. And it's very easy to do, and it's open for all your early career nurses and midwives during this 2020 and moving forward. And it's open to those who have signed up from the health employers. What our role is, by looking at what you want to achieve and what you're looking for in a partner, we will then match the prospective organisation partners and join you together and give you the introductions, join with you together, share the triumphs, share the achievements, and share your learning that other people can benefit from. Very much joint development opportunity. The Nightingale Challenge, so we will identify the partner and make the introductions and help you develop. We've supported these cross-country linkages and strategic partnerships really very much for the knowledge sharing and advocacy. And it's also training collaboration and shared mentorship. So as I said, there's 72 organisations in 82 organisations in 33 countries. And some of the organisations are actually keen to take more than one partner. So there is a lot of interest, and this is open to everyone, regardless of where they're working, whatever organisation or educational institute or anything like that. So as an organisation, really what's next, if this is something that people want to get involved in, it's very much identifying the young nurses and midwives that you wish to involve. And these are early careers, so what you deem as somebody who's in the early career of their career pathway, and plan. At the very start, when we started, it was started off at the start of 2020. Obviously, we've had COVID, but the campaign is, the challenge is still running, and you can join the challenge at any time now, up until the end of 2020. And once you feel that you want to commit, whether it's 2, 3 people or a large group, then let us know on the website. So everything is done online. So giving us the website, identify the nurses, share the information with us. we were then able to count your numbers or include your numbers in the overall total, and give you a place on the map. And also, if you wish to, think about if partnerships is something for you. I'm very open to talking to any of you either today or later on. I'm sure Tom can share all my details. So I'd be very happy to speak to any of you, to going forward and looking forward to actually get you involved if that's what you wish, and also to match with the partnerships as well. It's all open to you once you become involved. Once you have your plan and you've identified your staff, and then just submit a summary of your plans to Nursing Now, and please tell everyone as well that you're involved. There's a lot of interest, and as we're moving on through the year, what we find is a lot more interest generated. A lot of things have been put on postponement but never cancelled, and now people are finding the reserve and the capacity to get more involved, and there's very much a hunger to get involved. So this is a social movement with an active network of groups, and it's there to work to improve the care pathways and the policies. And it's not just about the nurses now. This is about the generation after. And again, in less than 12 months, we've reached almost 30,000. I've never seen this before. But yeah, it's something that's very real, and people are very, very encouraged and very engaged with coming into this. So we welcome you. So the details are down there. So this is our email, and also we have the all the web details there, and also we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. So please join us.
Great, thank you very much, Matt. It was really brilliant and interesting to hear from that. Just before I obviously I have one or two questions myself, but if
yeah,
the others that are participating, if they have any questions, yeah, feel free to unmute yourself and let us know. Well, actually, yeah, from my side, actually, Matt, obviously the target is, fantastic. I mean, that you set for I think it was the end of 2020, wasn't it? The 20,000 participating.
Yeah, we never expected to get 20,000 so quickly.
Yeah.
And we were very encouraged how it skyrocketed. It went very, so there is no upper limit. We've reached the target that we wanted to. We reached it very, very quickly, from around the world. So, yeah.
Brilliant. And I mean, yeah, it's especially given the times at the moment, I think now more than ever, people are realizing, we need to look after the current and future generations of nurses and midwives, and obviously other professionals, particularly. Yeah. I mean, it's been, even as you mentioned, I think when we discussed it the other day, the World Health Assembly, one of the opening remarks was the acknowledgement and the sort of, recognition of nurses and the midwives. And also, the jobs that they're doing at the moment, especially do all the time.
And the challenge isn't just about the nurses and midwives. We encourage pharmacists, we encourage the physios, the therapists, and that's going to be very much the focus as we're moving forward this year, to get as many people involved from across the professions.
Okay. And actually, of interest, you said there was, I think at the beginning, you said there was a relatively even split between private and public organisations or healthcare organisations. Is it a sort of 50-50 split, or is there sort of one more, more participation from public or?
It's very interesting. I think that it's quite a 50-50 split amongst the Western countries. It's hard to tell sometimes, because trying to get the information. I think it's primarily more public, but that depends on the health system or the health industry in each country. One thing that I'm not seeing a great deal of is primary care.
Okay.
Which I think is a great shame, because I think this is something that nurses everywhere should benefit, not just nurses in acute trusts or acute organisations or education.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, I personally, I would welcome all with open arms to get you as many involved as possible.
Okay, excellent, thank you. I've just seen that we have a question from Jennifer in the chat. We'd like to, yeah. I'm curious about that as well. Actually, if you have any, if there are plans to continue after 2020.
Okay, so yes, there is, but it's not been officially announced yet, I'm afraid. So I can't. I'm not sure. So it will be continuing, and we'll make an announcement in the next week or two because it's been so successful. It will be moving forward, and really, when the thought was, organisations will continue this in their own way past the end of 2020, because this was tied to the Nursing Now campaign, which was 2018 to 2020, and it was always going to be a 3-year campaign. Nightingale Challenge is very much how do we work with our early career nurses to secure their future, and midwives to secure their future in this. So after the announcement next week, you should better hear more, and I can give you an update on that. I don't really want to steal anyone's thunder on that, I'm afraid. So after 2020, the onus has always been on the employers to continue their investment, because it would need to go forward, and it needs to be done by the employers. And I am seeing this in the conversations I'm seeing, that actually after 2020, the changes they are making, especially in response to the pandemic, is that a lot of very fundamental changes are happening in the bureaucracy, etc., and the rest of it. So it is paving the way for very practical leadership development and also professional career development and etc., all the rest of it. So yeah, you know, it's going to be moving forward primarily with the employers, but after next week I can, and I'll give you an update as well, and I'll be able to hopefully, you know, it'd be great if you could share with everyone that actually, yes, it will be moving forward.
Great, thank you for that. There's also actually another question from Jennifer there as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we're from an organisation that represents children's hospitals. Are there any specialty networks or ways to focus on a specific type of nursing? So there is. Just trying to think the best way to have a think. So there's no particular speciality focus in the challenge. It's all nurses and midwives. What is very representative is adult nursing and adult general nursing. So the specialities around learning disabilities and mental health nursing, is also they're two areas that I'm very keen to challenge and involve, and that's what I've been spending a lot of time to work on. Are there any specialty networks within this? No, because the challenge is for all nurses and midwives, also other AHPs, but the focus has been nursing midwives. And to focus on a specific type of nursing, I am doing that in my own way of bringing in mental health and learning disability nurses. My background is intensive care, and I've worked in paediatric intensive care. I would be very, very, very keen to bring children's hospitals and unite and partner with them. It's open to all, and to bring children's hospitals in on this as much, because I don't really believe that we've got a massive uptake from these areas, not specifically children's hospitals. But yeah, I'm very happy to work with Jennifer and to work out a way if this is what she would like to do, and to see how we can get her involved.
Hi, yeah, I just unmuted myself.
Hello, hiya, you're right.
I'm happy to connect with you.
Yeah.
the organization that I work for, it's called the European Children's Hospitals Organization. And we're just in the process of trying to, all of our members talk about issues with nursing and in terms of recruitment, retention, you know, maintaining skills, this whole ICU, COVID, you know, how do we go between different units? What happens when, so there's a lot of issues, and haven't found, I'm a pharmacist by training, and I haven't found that there's a good network of pediatric nurses in Europe. So we're focused mostly on Europe, our organization. And so I'm just right now looking for ways to support our nurses and to support our institutions. So but again, I'm just sussing things out at this point, but would be definitely
definitely
to connect with you and see what we could do.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. I don't know if the best way is to if Tom can link us together with emails, if that's okay after this. But there's definitely some way that we can help you with that and give you information, and the whole connectivity and the partnerships thing is something that I think that would be very useful for you.
Great, that's super exciting.
That's lovely. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, and yeah, Matt, no problem. I can connect the two of you by email there. That's not a problem. I have
no, that'd be fabulous.
Details, email details here as well, so that's not a problem. And then yeah, I mean, of course, obviously with something like this as well, it's yeah, connection is vital in that sense. So it's
yeah, very much so.
Very nice to hear, and especially when on the topic of specializing or having a specific focus on certain types of nursing. Could be really useful, I think, because there's so many fields which you can incorporate into it. I mean, almost, it's huge variety. So that'd be really interesting to see.
Yeah, this would be really. I'm super excited as well.
Brilliant.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Brilliant.
Excellent. Well, from my side, I mean, I think that I don't have too many more questions actually. I mean, I've been looking up obviously. The challenge over the past few weeks and months, and it's really exciting perspective from my side. I mean, from the side of the European Forum for Primary Care as well. I mean, I think it's really nice to be able to connect with everyone on this level, with yourself as well, Matt, because then it's the possibilities are endless, of course, in that sense, and it'll be great. Carrying on from 2020 onwards and continuing to develop these connections. So it's great.
No, that's great. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
thank you. Oh,
sorry.
Oh, hi, Sarah. Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Sarah.
I'm sorry. I just unmute myself. Hi. Good evening. This is Sarah.
Hello.
From Spain. Hello. Hi. So just before closing, so I'm attending on behalf of the SPIM. So we are the Association of Employers in the Healthcare Sector and Hospital Sector. We are based in Brussels. So thanks a lot, Matt, for this brilliant overview. And we already had the chance actually to exchange a few months ago on the challenge.
I remember. Yes. Hello, Sarah. How are you? All right.
Yes, over Skype. Yes. Also with one representative from NHS.
Yeah.
Just to have a comment on what you said at the beginning regarding the importance of an integrated approach and really to work in teams when planning and designing a leadership development program for nurses. And we at OSPIN would really represent whole healthcare professionals. And a few years ago, back in 2016, we adopted jointly with the trade unions, the Federation of the European Trade Unions, educational development and lifelong learning all along the career. So we really stress and continue every time and working in team and really designing this program following an integrated marks, following your presentation.
Okay, that's lovely.
So I don't have any specific question, but I will follow up.
No, that's fine.
By email.
That's fine. Yeah, no, follow up. I think the more things to be honestly, everything is changing rapidly. It has changed rapidly, particularly through the pandemic. when we thought that it would slow down and change, it never did. It seemed to pause where everyone was, I think everyone was taking collective breath as the pandemic hit everyone. And then as we continued through, within the first 6 weeks after, there seemed to be this pause, and we've had new countries join, we've had new organizations join, the numbers are starting to creep up again, and especially the webinars, and just the very fundamental engagement between people has really taken on a new life, which is really encouraging for us all. And that's when next week or two we'll be able to, you know, announce what the plan is for the coming year. But yeah, the more right. discussion, the more talking with everyone that we do, and break down these barriers, and you know, working together, it can only be a good thing, regardless of where we're working, what profession, you know, what situation, what speciality. We're nurses and midwives fundamentally at the end of the day. And alongside that, we have our, you know, allied health professionals, pharmacists, therapists, everyone. We're all in this together, and we need to approach it together.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much, Matt, again for that. I mean, from
my pleasure.
Yeah, I think if you might already have Sarah's details, I suppose, if you've talked briefly before.
Yes, yeah. If Sarah wanted to email me again, and then we'll carry on the conversation.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I think finished a little bit earlier than normal, but again, thank you everyone for attending, and Matt, again, thanks for
no, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, fantastic. I think Matt, if you stay on for a bit longer, we can have a quick chat if you're free for.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that'd be lovely.
And yeah, of course, the webinar will be recorded and placed on our YouTube channel, and also disseminated to our members as well. So
that's lovely. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you everyone, and yeah, I wish you a nice evening, and see you soon.